Hello, welcome to another edition of Reopening of Schools for February 16th. I'm Tony Trongone, Superintendent of Millville Public Schools, and we're obviously looking at the feedback that we're getting in our social media posts, and we want to provide you with a response. And so today's session will focus on special ed. And again, this won't be the only session we'll have. We'll have further sessions, subsequent sessions, but today's session will be focused on special ed, and we have a special guest, our Executive Director for Student and Special Ed Services, Mr. Steve Matusz. Welcome, Mr. Matusz.
Good morning.
So you have a presentation for us, so I'm going to step aside and I'm going to hand it off to you, and we'll give it a go.
All right. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to communicate with our families and staff here in the school district. So, first of all, I just want to thank everyone for the hard work they've been putting in over the course of the last school year, especially our families have also put on the hat as an educator, and for our teachers when it comes to juggling the both hybrid and in-person learning. But we're glad to be returning to schools on February 16th. And what we're going to do is pick up exactly where we left off back prior to when we closed in November. So it's going to entail having some students come in 4 days a week. And as we look forward, we're going to look to expand the opportunities for students to return. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about compensatory services. So when it came to returning to school, the New Jersey Department of Ed gave guidelines to districts saying, based on a student's needs, certain students have the ability to attend more days than others. So that's a very difficult task. So back in the summer when we were asked to look at that, it's hard to decide what student may need to go to school more days than others. In fact, all kids need to be in school 5 days a week. But based on the NJDOE guidelines, you understand that there are certain students that need additional supports. So what we did was we looked across the district of what students needed to be in school 4 days a week immediately. And what we came out with back in the fall, and which we're going to pick up with starting on February 16th, is all of our preschool students will attend 4 days a week. All of our students on our self-contained programs, we have 20 of those across the district. Students with one-to-one aides, and we identified students in grades 6 through 12 with resource room for their core subject areas. As we look forward, once we can open safely and we get back in the routine of going through the daily temperature checks and mask wearing and getting back into the routine of having students on property, we're looking forward to, can we safely offer that opportunity to other students as well? Because as we know, all kids need to be in as many days as possible. But the ticket is balancing that with making sure the safety needs of everyone is met as well. So after we reopen, we're going to be looking at what are the ways that we can safely expand that. Students with 504 plans, students that are in inclusion, and students that are in resource room in K through 5, and students that have shared aids. All these decisions are made with consulting with everyone in the district, teachers, paras, building administrators, supervisors. Last night we had our parent advocacy group where we held a public forum for feedback, suggestions, and ideas. I'm also in consultation with other directors across all of South Jersey, not just Cumberland County. And then we also consult with our special ed attorney as well to make sure that we're implementing best practices to support the needs of our kids and families. Lastly, I'm going to talk about compensatory services. This is a key term that we find in all of our IEPs. So I just want to take the time to explain it because after going through the pandemic, this is something that's going to be a crucial part of our IEP meetings as we go forward. So compensatory services are educational or related services that need to be made up. These services need to be made up for a variety of reasons. Let's just say there was a staff member that was on maternity leave and so many speech sessions were not made available. That would be a time where there would be compensatory services. During the school closure, there have been some services that have not been able to be delivered just due to various reasons, students being all virtual, etc. So when we return back on the 16th, the process is we're going to begin to start to collect data, where every student's at, benchmark data, in-person evaluations and assessments, and that'll happen from all our related services and our academics. After a period of time of collecting this data and providing that direct instruction, we will then see if the student makes any gains, or the child makes any gains as we move forward. So after a period of time of returning to school, collecting the data, providing direct instruction and related services, then we'll start to see, does this child need compensatory services? Do we need to make up those sessions? While every student has regressed, or many students have regressed during this time period, we understand that when we get back into the school setting, we expect the assessment data to show that the students start to regain the skills that were lost during this period. And then lastly, compensatory services are not necessarily a one-to-one, meaning that if 5 OT sessions were missed, doesn't mean necessarily that 5 need to be made up. This is a conversation that takes place at an IEP meeting. So every parent has a say at the IEP meeting, and it's a discussion between families, the case manager, the related services provider, of what type of services need to be made up at this time. Here's the contact information for our office. Please feel free to reach out if you have any further questions or concerns. Once again, I appreciate your time and look forward to seeing everybody back on school grounds.
All right, thank you, Mr. So I have a couple questions for you, because again, I think we're all conditioned to this post being on social media. Then we have questions from our parents and community. So I want to. This is a special ed focused feedback session. So it's about special ed students, and so I want to ask elementary. So what's going on between kindergarten and 5th grade? Who would be coming back 4 days on the 16th? I just want to reiterate that. That's all.
No, that's great to break it down that way. So in K through 5, students that will be returning would be any student that's in one of our special programs, a self-contained class, or a student that has a 1-to-1 aid.
Okay, and then middle school.
In middle school, it would be the same. It would be any student that's in a self-contained class, a student that has a 1-to-1 aid, or the addition for 6 through 12 is students that are in a resource room for their core academics, English, science, math, and social studies.
Okay, so and then you did a great job explaining what we're going to do in the future. So, and we're going to look to expand that. And in our previous session, we talked about the reopening committee looking at expanding it. But on the 16th, this will be special. I think a parent called about kindergarten, and I want to be. It's not transparent is the right word, but I just want to clarify when we say we put words together, and people associate kindergarten with kindergarten. But when they have kindergarten to 5th grade, it's special ed kindergarten through 5th grade classes. You said it well, but I just want to repeat it for the third time, what that environment looks like, and then what children that are in that environment will be coming back on the 16th for 4 days, not just the 2 days hybrid.
Correct.
Am I correct?
Yeah, and that's, like I said in the slide, that's under the NJDOE guidance of allowing districts to understand that we have certain students, children that need additional supports during this time. So we were able to identify those students at this point to get them back into school for the 4-day plan.
Great. Well, again, you said it. We're going to thank all our staff, and we're meeting, and the principals are doing a great job of communicating, getting us back up to where we were on November 24th. So I can't thank the staff enough. And then also the fact that we're purposely giving folks notice to prepare. So our staff notice to prepare, our parents to notice to prepare for any type of childcare or daycare issues. So there's a lot of planning that goes on. So we want to be respectful of that, knowing that, February 16th, Tuesday, we'll be going back to hybrid, which is the orange kids will be in on Monday and Tuesday, and then the blue kids will be in on Thursday and Friday, and that middle day Wednesday will be a virtual day, and that's and then we also have our virtual kids. We'll also have our virtual kids, and that'll continue to the remainder of the year for our virtual kids. Parents who decide to put their kids in the virtual program, they still have that right to go all the remainder of the school year until the governor lifts the executive order. And then one thing, I just created my own confusion. When we come back, Tuesday and Wednesday will be orange days because there's only 4 days. So it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, orange, Thursday, Friday, blue, and then the following week we'll go to that normal orange, Wednesday off, blue, blue. So again, sometimes we try to communicate to our parents. We create, there's more. It invites more questions, and that's part of the process. And that's why we look forward to your feedback, and then you can look forward to our response to your feedback to make sure that we are clear in what we're doing, and then maintaining a safe learning environment for our children and then for our staff. So again, stay tuned next time for another update, and proud to be a part of the Millville learning community and proud of our efforts in serving our kids of Millville. Take care and go Bolts.